Mindset Podcast. We're your guide as you make your way through life, getting better 1% every day. We believe that life is lived and true victory won through adversity. Nothing easy is ever worth it. We believe in the warrior ethos and support those that choose to walk that path.
Well, I'm glad you're here, man. I have a couple things on my mind.
Yes.
One was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He's always on my mind.
Is he?
Well, when I'm doing workouts and I have to do presses, I think of Arnold. I don't know why. It's just ingrained.
Yeah, the Arnold press.
Yep.
Well, I don't know if you subscribe to his email. He's got an email newsletter.
Oh.
And I think he actually writes it.
I bet he does.
I think he does.
Because what I saw in it was like, it totally feels like his voice.
Yeah, right?
Or is a really good, like Arnold GPT. Yeah.
Arnold GPT. That's the next iteration of
Exactly.
artificial intelligence.
Totally just trained on Arnold quotes.
So I know there's negatives and positives when you talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm kind of a fan of his, more so now than I used to be.
Well, because I hate politics in general, like I could care less that he was, a governor at some point and
Governor of California.
A governor of California.
Of all places.
A Republican governor of California, right?
Well,
I don't remember.
Yeah, he was Republican.
Okay.
But I think a European person
Mm-hmm.
who lives in California,
Mm-hmm.
who works in Hollywood,
Right.
who is a Republican governor, is probably not necessarily what we think of a Republican nowadays.
Yeah. So again, this is why,
like, as closest to a normal human maybe we can get.
This is why I don't
anyway.
like politics. But I've always enjoyed his work, and it's not supposed to be, the best work in the world,
right? And he knows that.
Yeah,
and I think he accepts it.
Yeah,
which makes it even more fun.
Exactly.
And I'm also a child of the '80s, so
exactly. Yeah.
Terminator.
I don't know how many times I've watched that little kid push that stone thing around in Conan.
Yeah, the mill. Yeah, in Commando, greatest action movie of all time.
Good. Come with me if you want to live.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Well, and then I've done some research on him, and I didn't know this until recently, but he was essentially a millionaire before he was an actor.
Yeah. It's
like he did that first.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody knows he did the bodybuilding stuff first, but he was kind of doing that at the same time, which is fascinating because he had a whole life.
Yeah.
First, like a very successful life, and then he had another one, and then he had another one, and now he's living his last one.
Do you know what was his first role in a movie?
Wasn't it like Hercules or something? Yeah, Hercules goes to
modern day, like
Hercules goes to California or something. Yeah, that's pretty cheesy, but yeah. Well, so he puts out an email newsletter.
Is that what we're talking about? Okay.
Among things, but he was reacting to someone, I think, who was tweeting at him or whatever social media thing this is from. Make sure we'll link this up, but it's like, what's your opinion of men's mental health? And she's asking. She's a psychologist asking him to remind his audience that therapy is not just for crazy people. Seeking therapy doesn't mean you're insane.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he responds, "I hope it works for you." But it's a deeper thing that he writes in his Arnold's Pump Club, which is his email newsletter, which is kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more, his response I thought was interesting. Was mostly about. Let's see if I can find it here. Mostly, his opinion is that yes, therapy is not just for crazy people. Everyone can benefit. But the main meat of his nice guy sandwich, which you put right in the middle here, is social media has caused a crisis of confidence because people lose their sense of purpose scrolling feeds all day. we're constantly told to be scared, you know,
Yep.
and then you see like fake confidence online. You know, I forget who said this. Maybe it was like Andy Stump or something that said like, you know, social media is the feed. You can look at all the people that you should hate. Because
I like that.
like, well, I mean, they're just going to show you the best of everything, and
Yeah.
probably most of it's fake.
Yeah.
There's also like pictures of people like faking their vacations. I'm sure you've seen that. Like it's like they have like a toilet seat for an airplane window, and they're like,
Oh yeah, yeah,
it's like
I've seen
completely fake. Those are,
Yes.
I think, extremely funny, but extreme humor.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think people aren't willing to feel a little out of their comfort zone for even a minute. But life isn't going to be comfortable all the time, so it throws them out of whack when they hit the crappy parts. So I don't disagree with him. I think that well, have you ever been to therapy?
Yeah.
Of any kind?
I've been once as a kid.
Physical or mental?
I all and emotional. Once as a
Is
kid.
that a thing? Is emotional therapy a
It
thing?
was. I guess it's part of the mental. Sometimes it's part of the physical, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a kid, like 17 years old, my mom caught me drinking.
Oh,
Or she finally caught me drinking. And
Okay.
and you know, she thought that I needed therapy, so
Oh,
I
wow.
went to a therapist once, and we talked, and he's like, "Sounds like you just like have normal stuff going
You're
on.
just having fun.
You're like
just a teenager.
you're a teenager." I'm like, "Yeah, like I like to drink, write poetry, and hang out with friends. Like,
Sound like a college student.
yeah."
So you were ahead of your time.
I was ahead of my time, exactly. And then you know, when I found out that I had ADD, and this was like sometime in my 30s or so, and, you know, clinically diagnosed. Like
Yeah.
I went to that therapist for a while, and it was, you know, and I did have the Adderall or whatever legally, folks. I had legal Adderall. I don't know about the rest of you.
Not John
For-
Mulaney here.
No, for something that I needed it for. And then guess what? All of you people like caused an Adderall shortage because you wanted to, you know,
That's the whole thing.
I don't know
Yeah.
what the hell you wanted it for, but for me, I couldn't find it anymore.
I think
So
they wanted it to like.
oh yeah,
Same reason they wanted cocaine.
yeah, exactly. But so there was an Adderall shortage. I can no longer
Right.
find it, so I stopped doing Adderall legally, and you know, just went to using vitamins after that, and never looked back. But it was something that I've, you know, like told my wife and my kids and everything, like, you know, if you ever feel like you need to talk to somebody, well, you know, first of all, I'm here. But second, like, there is something so releasing about going to somebody who their only job is to listen to you.
Right.
You are paying them for that. And, you know, I
Because
mean,
you couldn't pay me to listen to you.
well, exactly.
I'm just
I've already told you that this particular thing is sometimes therapy. But
There's a joke about that, about women go to therapy and men start podcasts.
yeah, I can believe that. And here we are.
It's not why I started this one, but
No, I know, but I will tell you that, like, you know, the first therapist I went to as an adult, he was horrible. Like, he did not listen to a word I said.
yeah, that can happen.
And it was just like he had a script that he went through, and then, you know, he was done. And so I I read into that very quickly, and then I found, you know, somebody else to talk to. And then after that, you know, I had that talk that with that person for it was like a year or so. And, you know, and it helped me get from, you know, point A to maybe point B or C, just but it was more not even this journey. It was more just like a, you know, a realization of the things that I probably should be noticing on a continual basis, but I was not.
That's kind of what they do.
Yeah. Which, you know, script or not, at that point, like, I go back to, like, that person's only job is to listen to me.
Yeah.
And maybe not give a shit for real, but give a shit enough to, you know, reflect back on you and say, well, you know, like, how does that make you feel?
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes when you are trying to go deeper into yourself. And I mean, like, journaling does this as well.
Yeah, it's a good first step for
like
sure.
like you write something and it's very top level or
Mhm.
cursory or whatever, and then well, why do I feel like that?
Right.
And then you start to get it deeper, and then why do I feel like, when you keep asking the whys, which is what a therapist usually does,
The 5 whys.
I guess.
You're supposed to ask 5 of them.
Because then you finally get down to
I read that in a book.
yeah. But it's yeah,
Yeah.
I've done it. Would it be useful to do now? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But it's and on a continual basis, maybe. But you're right. Sometimes, again, having a podcast, being able to
Yeah.
just talk things,
Explore your feelings.
well, yeah,
It's
but
it's
that's
interesting. I mean, we used to do that. I don't know about you. I say we used to do that in college. You just sit around,
bullshit.
and whatever. Maybe you drink a beer or
Yeah.
whatever, and smoke a cigarette, whatever you did. But you
Mhm.
sat around with your friends and just explored dumb shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you get out of school. I mean, and not everybody goes to college. I get it, but like, and you just stop doing it.
Well, yeah, but also, like, the dumb shit that you talked about was sometimes interwoven with, like,
Real
deeper
shit. Yeah. Well, that's the whole point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Just like this.
Well, especially with guys, right?
Yeah, I can't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm speaking from my own perspective.
Because while I feel like, okay, this is going to get me in trouble, I'm sure. Yay, controversy. While guys in general are perceived as maybe more direct, in what is
Yes.
done on a daily basis and how they act and
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
versus women.
Right.
I think when it comes to, like, talking about shit, though, women are a lot more direct in talking about, like, meaningful things with other women
Yes.
than men are. And so, where we're direct about everything else, that thinking about feelings, thinking about, like, how we actually feel
Yeah.
about things, like, we have to, take this circuitous road in order to get there
Yeah,
sometimes.
I think so.
And so you talk about dumb shit in order to get to the real shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you're afraid. Because you're afraid of what?
I don't know what you're afraid of.
Afraid of being judged.
Potentially.
You're afraid of. I hope they don't understand how I really feel.
I think men often are afraid to just express their emotions, certain emotions. Like, we're certainly not afraid to express our anger.
True. True.
Or frustration,
Mm-hmm.
because that's kind of you can
That is an emotion. Those are emotions.
make that known pretty easily.
Right.
I think it's the deeper ones, like just telling your friends that you love them, or we're friends. Like, even just making it obvious is kind of hard to do.
I love you, Gene. Damn it.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the way men are raised.
Some, yeah.
Maybe partly society or whatever. Like, I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist.
Nor a psychologist.
Nor a psychologist. But I can write prescriptions. I'm just kidding. So anyway, Arnold says it's good for you.
Well, yeah, and also, like, I think we've talked about the social media, like, yeah, everything is wonderful.
Well, I know we had other things, but let's dig into this a little bit.
Mhm.
Let me pull this back up, because I'm interested in your take on, because I think we probably agree, but his take on, where are you at, Arnold? People aren't willing to feel a little out of their comfort zone for even a minute.
Yeah. So
I think that's very true. I think modern society, or current society, is all about seeking comfort.
mhm. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, being comfortable with, how others perceive you, the way you look, the way you feel, like where you're sitting, like the shows you're watching,
Mhm.
the literal shit you get in your feed. Like, the algorithms in these social media feeds are designed to make you feel like you live in your own little bubble,
Right. That's why you can.
because we don't want you to think about anything that might challenge you,
All right.
because
Well,
then you won't scroll. I mean, I'm kind of joking, but
no,
it's just real.
it's the truth. And I'm not going to say that I'm, you know, a better person than other people. I'm not going to say that I'm a better person. I would say that I feel like a better person for it, for me personally. But like, you know, I don't go on Facebook. I don't go on Instagram. I go on Instagram because, like, I ran the high school men's soccer,
Yeah.
Instagram. Um, and like this year, I was like really reluctant to even, do anything with it
Yeah.
because I don't want to go. Because what I find is as soon as I get on there, like, you know, all of a sudden it hooks me and I'm like, "Bloop, bloop,
Right.
bloop," and
Right.
I was like, oh, this is exactly why I don't want to do
Yeah.
this. And so, I mean, like LinkedIn is my social network of choice at this
Yeah.
point. And even then, like, I post something because like it's
It's business.
relevant for work.
Yeah. LinkedIn's very dry too.
It can't, I mean,
I mean, at least my feed is very dry.
yeah,
It's like all business.
yeah.
But it's the same sort of vibe as non-businessy things, though. It's because and even when, and I'm guilty of this too, even when you post something that's not positive,
Mhm.
it's still not negative.
Well, yeah,
It's
because,
always spun with like, yeah, this happened, but look what I learned.
yeah, because no matter what, if you're trying to,
It's never like, my life sucks.
right.
Bye.
Well,
You know?
if if you're putting something on there that shows how great your life is,
Yeah.
or if you put something on there that where you're looking for sympathy almost,
Yeah.
guess what you're looking for both times?
Yep.
You're looking for the dopamine spikes
Yeah.
of the likes.
Validation right there, baby.
Yeah. And like that, let's go back to my 400 and what was it 58 days of posting
Yeah.
quotes.
I realize now you stopped doing that.
Yeah. 448. Too shy of 450. I couldn't even fake it.
Just make 2 now.
Done. And change the days.
Yeah. You can post date.
I know.
Okay.
That's a great thing. You didn't used to be able to do that. But like I started doing that in order because I hate social media, but I'm in marketing.
Yeah.
But I hate social media. So it was more like not even hate social media. I hated the way that people act towards each other on social media.
Yeah.
And so, my original thought at the time was, well, I'm going to post something that's positive and a quote from somebody else and just put it out
Yeah.
there for, for whoever,
Right.
and don't go back and look. And, for like weeks, I would just post
Yeah.
things and I do them daily. I wouldn't even like auto post them, which would be the smartest fucking thing. But
No, I think there was something to
well,
the act of finding the inspiration and
right, and then putting it out there for that day.
Yeah, I do that. I do when I do schedule a bunch of things, but
Mhm.
like the ones that I really want to put effort into, I won't do that. I will like there's something about the act of like creating the thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yes.
that was a
No, and but it was more like a, oh shit, damn it, I forgot to do that.
well, that's
Now-
different.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But for weeks I wouldn't look back at it, and then every once in a while I would. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah, there's comments on some of these.
well, there's comments, but also like
Also,
there's also like 3 likes.
Right,
I mean, like
right.
every once in a while, like something hits and somebody
Yeah.
blah blah blah.
Yeah, so keep going.
Well, and so so then as I kept going through, and then towards the end, I was just like, for me, in a marketing analytics sense, I was looking at it going like, I'm posting this, and if people aren't putting a like on it, then in my brain I was going, well, what is it worth?
Right.
Like it's not actually doing any good anymore. So why would I continue doing this?
Yeah, right.
But there's
Right.
a personal level that's not the marketing person in me that
Yeah.
goes, nobody likes my shit, so fuck all of you, and
Well,
I'm done.
Yeah, you can't help but that.
Yeah. which was the exact opposite purpose of doing it in the first place.
Wasn't it Instagram that took off the likes for a long time?
I don't know.
Or
No, I can't ever see that happening.
one of them took the like. I think it was Instagram for a long time. They took the like off, like you couldn't see, like it was still there, but you can't see. I think it's still like that.
So if you go to
Um,
the some, but not your feed, but if you go to like an Instagram page, you can only see like,
Yeah.
views on reels, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
But you can't see how many likes are on an actual,
right.
or maybe you can't see your own, but you
That's
can
just
see what
like
somebody else. I don't know.
one grain of sand in the entire beach that they're trying to fix. Like it's not going to fix, but it, you know, at least it's something. But
Well, have you heard recently also, like if you're listening to sports radio and there's like, have you or your children experienced depression and weight loss and eating disorders
yeah,
by viewing Instagram? They're now
Yeah.
you may be part of a class action lawsuit,
that's
which is shitty
That's a
in
whole
general.
different.
However,
We could do a whole episode on class action.
well, no,
lawsuits.
yeah, probably not a good idea.
I haven't done anything wrong.
I know, no, but I mean, as far as like the reason that you have a no diving because you might die sign is because somebody has dove into whatever
And
the
died.
thing is and died.
Yeah.
All right. So
Right, right.
having a class action lawsuit, like, okay, I'm sure that you can trace back enough and social media, or,
Oh, dude.
or
yeah.
eating
I
issues
mean,
and things like that
yeah,
to
it's-
something like this.
Yeah.
But
There's studies out there about
right. You and I may
linking
be
that to teenagers
immune.
suicide, and I mean, there's tons of it.
And for you and I who generally I think have healthy mental health.
I am not mature by any stretch.
Oh no, I wasn't going there.
Okay.
Gene. I'm never calling us mature.
Okay, good.
I am Peter Pan. I generally having good mental health, like I mean, this stuff doesn't affect us as much.
Yeah, I don't have an eating disorder because of Instagram.
No, I haven't.
I just overeat.
I just like to fucking eat. Yeah.
Well, so Arnold tells us we need to sign off and build up confidence in the real world. So, and he's saying you do that by taking one small step and then another one and then a bigger step and then another one. And that's real confidence. You do it by the reps, doing it every day.
Yeah.
And that the other kind is fake confidence. Because the shit's not real.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I'm glad you mentioned that because, you look back and you saw like your post had like 2 likes on it or 3 likes and you were like, nobody likes me. Nobody likes what I'm doing. That's what you feel like.
Yeah.
But it's not real.
Yeah, exactly.
It just means that they didn't see it.
Yeah. Yeah. The algorithm said,
or whatever. I mean, whatever it is. It's
Right.
it's not a reflection of you and your personality.
Mhm.
It's just that.
But you feel like that.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really check the stats on this show much. Maybe once a month I'll look and be like, well, for like the sake of like, am I making sure like I'm posting it correctly?
Right.
Things like that. I'll go and look because I've done some where I've like,
why
that
did
went
that-
out okay. And it's like,
why did that one have 100,000?
yeah, it's questionable.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
What I do?
Email didn't actually send, y'all.
Mhm.
I've done that.
Yeah.
Or you schedule it for it's 7 a.m., but it's like, 7 p.m. 2 days later. And like, why didn't it come out?
Yeah.
I missed.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, I mean, we just had a major email go out like while we've been talking right now for work. That was like, okay.
Did it actually go? Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yes.
But just like that's not real
Uh-huh.
in the sense of like they don't think you suck. It just got 3 likes, like whatever. It's not real the other way either because if you got 100 likes,
Yeah.
that doesn't mean they love you.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds bad, but you get my point. I mean, it doesn't, and that's what he's saying. I think is that it goes both ways, man. It's not real in either direction.
No, and also as far as the likes go, let me tell you this too. Like, so being around a dance studio for my daughter, there are a bunch of teenage girls there. And I'm not going to say that they're always on Instagram, but I've like been standing there while some of them are on, like, hey, are you texting each other? First of all, they don't like the dad joke
Yeah.
there. But I have seen them like scroll, like scroll, like scroll, like scroll,
Yeah.
and like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's like a, it's
Yeah.
not even,
It's not even
I've seen
real.
my son do it too. It's like, dude, it's like,
But they're my friends.
or they're not your friend. Like it's just like that's part of your
Yeah.
feed, and you like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everything. I guess
You
so.
ever get someone who like, I don't know if you get this, but like I'll get on the channel here, I'll get like someone wants something, right? They want to sell me something.
Mhm.
So they'll like follow me, and then there's like they'll go back a month and like 4 things in a row. They make a comment on one like a month ago. And then make a comment on the most recent one.
Yeah.
And then it's like wait 3 hours and then I get the message. Check out my thing. And it's like, wow, that was very calculated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It also sounds like
Because at first you're like, well, somebody looked back at something 3 months ago.
yeah.
That was cool. They're into it. No,
Mm,
they're not into it.
no, unless it's your great aunt
Well, that's different. They're
Becky,
just like
and then
everything.
she like, oh, let me look it up.
Thanks, Mom. Yeah.
Can we go back to also the get used to being uncomfortable, which this is like that's also a Jocko thing, and
Yeah.
like
Yeah. I want to talk about that too.
eh, that is something. Yes, we started down that road of like everything is made for comfort. Like this sweatshirt I'm wearing right now, it's extremely comfortable.
All soft inside.
It's all soft inside, and you've already given me shit about not bringing you one.
Well, it's got a battle axe on it, bro.
I know that I kind of designed myself.
I'll take that one.
Okay. We'll fight later. I might lose, but I'm gonna
I'll
keep
take
this
that
damn thing on.
It is cool.
But it's it's yeah, I was freezing in here yesterday,
Okay.
and
Well,
no, but I mean like I got a fair amount of work done while I was doing that because I was pretty uncomfortable. I'm like, just gotta get this done. But
Just work
today, today, like I knew I was coming in here, and
Yeah.
so I brought this with me, and I'm nice and toasty.
I do keep it cold in the studio.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's cold everywhere here.
Well, you're welcome.
And also like it's 1,000 degrees outside.
I was gonna say,
so-
give it 2 weeks.
Yeah,
You'll be like,
yeah.
I need to get
yeah,
inside.
exactly. But so yeah, we do strive for comfort. But
Yeah. Well, we're human.
when are your uncomfortable parts of the day? It's working out. It's learning something new. It's having an argument. Like
Yeah.
those are the main times
Right,
that for us
right.
that we probably go through. Like being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And
Your average American doesn't have a lot of discomfort.
right, exactly. And the ones that do, uh, they're going through a lot more.
Yeah,
and those aren't the people that you see on Instagram.
Yeah.
And but I
No,
mean,
they don't have time to post.
no, exactly. Yeah, they gotta do
I see
shit.
that a lot. Like I remind myself of that constantly. Because I'm in the martial arts world, and you go down if you're into it, you go down a rabbit hole of like people posting how-tos and tips and training techniques and all kinds of stuff and whatever. But sometimes you look at the comments and you're just like, man, I'm sure there's other things in the world that aren't just martial arts, but anything in martial arts requires context.
Mhm.
I mean, you know this.
Yeah.
You can't just show something out of context and then someone apply their own context to it.
Sure.
For example, if I demonstrate a punch, well, it might not be a punch for self-defense,
Mhm.
right? It might be for whatever. It might just be hitting a soft bag.
Right.
And then someone will come along and they'll be like, "Whoa, in Navy SEAL combat, like that punch would never work."
Yes.
And you're like, "Well, no shit."
Yeah.
But those are the comments, and it's just like I have to constantly remind myself of that too. Like when people make comments, usually there's no context either.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. They just join the conversation with you that they had in their head.
Yeah. Well, that's what
putting it
happens.
on. Yeah.
But where I'm going with that is that like anytime I've ever, and I've, sometimes the comments piss me off.
Mhm.
But anytime I've ever like read the dumbest shithead comment,
Mhm.
I'll go look at that person. I'll like follow, like look at their profile,
Yeah.
and it's just like thousands of like random pictures of like horses or like sailboats or something, and it's just like, what the hell?
Mhm.
Like I'm like, is this even a real person? Like, or is this a complete dipshit?
Right.
Like, doesn't even like, who are you?
You mean Christopher Cross is fucking with you?
But it's like, it's not like
Yeah.
your biggest hero in the world made a comment on your post and
Yeah.
called your technique shitty. It's like some random dude in Iowa, Yeah, but
Not
I'm
that
like,
Iowa's not nice, folks.
but no one who is ever actually training and teaching. I'm talking specifically martial arts, but this
Sure.
probably applies everywhere. No one who's actually training and teaching for real makes fucking comments.
That's
They don't
fair.
even make posts.
Yeah.
Like they're
Like,
busy working.
yeah. No.
I mean, and I'm like, then I'm like, why am I taking it? Like, I should be working. Like I'm wasting my time
Mhm.
with this shit, and
Yeah.
I have to remind myself of that constantly. It's like,
Yeah. Well,
ugh.
I remember many times Joe Rogan says, "Don't look at the comments," but
He always says that, but
yeah,
I know he does.
but also, you kind of have to, unless you're getting paid $250 million.
Well, unless you have a 10,000 comments
Right,
for every post.
exactly. So it is part of your job
Yeah.
to look at these things and
Yeah, it is.
and
Yeah.
respond back when appropriate and everything.
Well, I enjoy my hobbies.
Yeah,
Go figure.
yeah,
I like reading about my hobbies. And I like reading about what other people think about them.
yeah.
It's just that it annoys me.
Yes.
But my point is that, I mean, if when we got here, because we're talking about people with mental problems from social media,
Yeah.
eating disorder. I mean, it can generate these things, but it's just so hard to and I get sucked into it, as I just demonstrated. But
Mhm.
it's so hard to remember that none of that shit's, it's just not real.
Yeah.
It's not real.
No.
Social media is not real. I mean, the all the conversation and the likes, it's not real.
Yeah.
As much as we want to think it is, it's just not.
Well, and no, it's not. Even on LinkedIn, it is, again, you're showing usually the best of what's going on in that area of your life versus your personal area versus someplace else. So
in the final bit here that he says is, stop listening to these influencers and what they think you need. They are selling you. And before anyone says I'm throwing shade, I just want to also say that Arnold Schwarzenegger said throwing shade.
and shysters as well, which I thought was
someone
awesome.
specific.
Yeah.
I just learned about all this how to be a man stuff online, which is kind of funny stuff. And I guess I'm part of that maybe a little bit, but I don't try to be just men, but and that he was the antithesis of this, which is funny. But yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, you have to remember that all the influencers and things, that's their goal, is to be an influencer.
Yeah, this is their job. Their job is to influence you to do something.
Yeah, and you have to remember that's why they're there.
Yeah,
they're there to be fake and to make you move in their direction, because they got some reason to make money off of you, or they got something they want to sell you,
right.
or they want you to like look at their shit enough so they get paid from whoever for you looking at their shit.
Right.
Like, that's the goal. The goal isn't your yeah.
Hey,
are you
speaking of,
are you enjoying your Jocko
I'm
Go?
enjoying my Jocko Go Real Energy Zero Crash Mango Mayhem. Yes.
Passion fruit mango mayhem. What do you think of the mango mayhem?
I like the other one better. What was the lemon lime?
Lemon lime,
or the strawberry lemonade, or whatever.
The last one I had in here was the Top Gun, like orange.
Yeah.
Not a good representative. I don't remember the name, but that was good.
I'll
bring some of those in.
This isn't wonderful.
It's different. This is a newer one.
Yeah.
I like the mango mayhem. Okay.
Yeah. If we're influencers, though,
which you can use Warrior 01 when you check out. from Jocko Fuel, and that's real. We are not sponsored, but we are an affiliate. So
What would Arnold say about this right now?
he would like it. He would drink it. He would use the code Warrior01 or the link in the post.
By the way, folks, have you figured out that we are dumbasses sometimes, or most of the time?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
Arnold
sometimes.
would not hang out with us.
No.
And he would probably. I love the fact that he said throwing shade.
Yeah.
Um,
I guess, probably towards the end of this the end of this podcast that I think he says you should treat your mind no differently than your body. You have to train both. And
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
That's 100%. And I think people, I see people all the time. They work on one and neglect the other.
Yeah. Exactly.
And often even neglect both, but for sure neglect training their mind and their emotions.
And like last night, something happened yesterday, and I was pretty pissed off, and I hadn't had a workout yet, and I actually went to the workout to become uncomfortable. And while I'm doing it, I'm like, I don't even want to be here right now.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it was also that was my therapy at the time. And it was boxing too. So,
Oh, cool.
I'm sorry, shadow boxing or whatever it is. Yeah. So, I know that my 3s and 4s are not the best. So if anybody's watching me while I'm doing that, but it was, like that was helping me. Your physical side can help you with your mental side. We know that there's
there's nothing, there's nothing better for problem solving in your life than just getting in there and getting yourself exhausted.
Right.
I mean,
it'll beating the shit out of something.
It'll put it in perspective.
Yeah.
Up there with like a good night's sleep,
Mhm.
Will often help. But a workout for me, it really does help.
Yeah.
It kind of melts a lot of that bullshit away.
Yeah.
In a very positive way. And oftentimes you get done, and you're like, man, I'm not really as mad about that. And the thing is, if you still are, then you need to go address that, whatever that thing that is causing you uncomfort.
Yeah.
And hopefully you'll address it in a
more positive way,
a way that will actually make a difference and not just yell and scream at it, because that doesn't do shit. But Arnold's final words here, and I will agree, I'm not an expert either, but I'm not an expert. If you're struggling, get help. That takes real strength.
Yep.
And as they say in G.I. Joe, knowing is half the battle.
This is
You didn't like that?
No. The song's going through my head, and I have to finish it. Yeah.
Knowing is half the battle.
Yeah. If talk to a friend. If you don't
have any friends,
you don't have any friends. No, then talk to a professional. I mean, and the catharsis that comes out of talking to somebody like that.
Yeah, man.
It's just like it's like like again back 100%. To 17-year-old Aaron. I was able to say like, yeah, I just got a whole bunch of things out.
Yeah.
And I feel, if I felt bad about them, that was not the reason that I was drinking. If I felt bad about them in the first place, then I feel a little bit better about them now. And
for real,
just talking to somebody, start a fucking podcast and just talk.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, like,
good luck.
If that's your therapy, just bullshit with somebody.
Yeah, whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
It's definitely helped me. Maybe.
Me too.
All right, man. Thanks.
Yeah.
That we lingered on that one post longer than I thought, but I think it was a good one.
Yeah.
And Arnold deserves it.
I'm not gonna do the voice.
Don't try.
Yes, he does.
All right,
yes,
man.
He does. Come with me.